Yeah. I think the biggest thing has been the touring and getting to play with LANY a bunch. I mean, pretty much most of the last fall, and getting to play with Maroon 5. I mean, playing to, we were very lucky to be with them, and playing shows like that. We took a hard look at the album, honestly, and we went, we like what we're doing live, but if we were doing our own show, we'd have to play everything on the album, and we don't really want to play these last three songs that no one's heard. And so it forced us to go back to the drawing board. And now, frankly, we have so much material that we're working on now that we're going into the studio in 2 weeks to finish, to add to the album. We have more than we need, and we're kind of deciding to cut things. So it's forced us to take a second look at the album, but really make it stronger altogether. I mean, frankly, there's maybe a single or two that we've come up with in the last couple months that wouldn't have existed otherwise. So we've learned a lot, and even this new single, "Typical Ways," if it wasn't for what happened in Manila at the Philippine Arena, I don't know that we'd be having this conversation today. So it's very much, Manila and the Philippines has continued to be a really big part of this band, and hopefully continues to be in the future. But we've just learned a lot from just immediate feedback, For that song, yeah. I mean, our process is different for every song, but for that song specifically, Dylan, our bass player, came up with the guitar part, all the guitar parts by himself. And he brought it to me, I think this was 2019 or something. And he had all these parts. He goes, "Oh, I've got this thing that I think is really cool." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And, I had the verse immediately after he played it for me. And then the chorus I had the morning after. I kind of slept on it and woke up and had the idea. And so it was very, very quick. And at that point, the whole thing was done. It was just a voice memo. We were done. It was all done. From a production standpoint, that song is very much just bass, drums, guitar, like the essentials. And so we really leaned on, our producer, obviously, which is also our guitar player, Caleb, and our engineer, Jerry, who's really great with getting the right guitar sounds and tones and stuff. And then, of course, it doesn't hurt to be in a studio like Sunset Sound in LA that has, had so many amazing records in it. And so we really just kind of pulled it off, just layer by layer in a very organic way. And then, Maddie Green mixed it to the perfect spot, and that was it. It was pretty straightforward. They're not always that straightforward. So it's good when it's easy. I wish I could say, it's kind of random, but I've always kind of been driven to kind of create something and connect with something greater than myself, or some, look, everything is temporary. Our bodies, everything, all of this is temporary, and but if you can create some good music, maybe it can last longer than the temporariness of the body. So I think that's like the very deep undercurrent for me. It's kind of this quest to become immortal. I kind of half joke with that, but yeah, but beyond that, look, I find music very interesting. I find it is a great vehicle to make not only yourself happy, but others. And I just have gotten great enjoyment from it since I was in diapers, as a kid. So, it's just always been what I've been into and gravitated towards. I think it factors in really only from, and I know this is kind of weird, but from a marketing standpoint, if we're trying to figure out what a single could be, obviously, you want to listen to the people, so to speak. And I think with Typical Ways, we were not even really thinking about it for the album. I mean, we were considering it, but it had such a strong response that it was just like, Jesus, this is
Mhm.
beating, this is not only are people enjoying it, but it's beating everything by a long shot. And so, you got to listen to that. I mean, at a certain point, you can think whatever you want about what you think the single should be, and I'm certainly labels try to pick it themselves, but when people respond that obviously, I mean, you can't think anymore. It's just like, okay, well, it's pretty straightforward. I think in general we're very very committed to rehearsing and practicing. We like to run, as I say, we like to run it into the ground until I can be rehearsing and practicing, and I can sit on my phone and look through Instagram mindlessly, and I don't forget a single word. I don't forget any of my cues. I don't forget anything. Like I can literally be fully
Mhm.
checked out. I can be fully checked out. I can be watching TV, not even listening, and I wouldn't miss a beat. And so we like to be that prepared because you get thrown in these environments where there's, let's say, the Philippine Arena, and there's 55,000 people in front of you, and they're going nuts, and your brain is going, "What's happening?" And you have to just get it, and that's when those things kick in. And also, like you're trying to interact with fans and like be present in the moment. And if you're having to think, oh, what's that? What's the last word of that verse? Like it's hard to do. So we just rehearse like crazy so that nothing gets in the way of the show. Outside of the Philippines, okay. I really enjoyed the last Kaohsiung show we did with Maroon Five. That was a lot of fun, and that was like just a really good environment. But also, we did the Jakarta International Stadium with them, and then the vibe of that show with Maroon Five, there was something different about that night. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of people because it's this mega soccer stadium and stuff. Um, but so yeah, outside the Philippines, those two were very like A plus 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 kind of thing. But you can't replace the Philippine Arena. That's like if I could relive it in like virtual reality, I would. It was cool. I think Wembley Stadium has always been the marker. A lot of bands that we look up to and idolize, that's like a pinnacle moment of their career. Your Queens and your In Excesses and stuff like that. That's kind of your U2s, I guess, really. I mean, even though they play every stadium you can think of. That Wembley has always been the pinnacle for that, and it's just always been a focal point for us. I would say, the way it's looking right now, because obviously we're working on it right now. There's a lot of more, very very solid, great rock songs that kind of give a different sound and perspective than what you've heard. I mean, there's not a single song on the album that sounds like itself. So I very much enjoy that. We've stayed away from trying to get stuck in formulas and things like that. I mean, there's some songs we're working on now that sound like these kind of more like almost pop rock kind of things, and then there's songs that I think we were making like My Bloody Valentine references the other day. I mean, all over the map. So we just make the music we want to make, and try to stay true to ourselves. So that there's not like it's all different. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's either going to be our own thing, or hey, if Maroon Five or LANY or something like that comes knocking again, we're not going to tell them no. So any excuse. Yeah, I mean, first off, like, thank you for the support. I mean, it's been insane so far, and secondly, go tell two friends and help us keep growing this thing so we can keep growing together, and hopefully, coming back and doing our own show and playing the new album that's not that we're still finishing. So, but mainly thank you, and hopefully everyone likes Typical Ways and stuff.